get out of here every day.
Spain is back in action on Sunday at noon Eastern for match day 2 of the group stage. They'll be taking on Saudi Arabia, who drew 1-1 with Uruguay in their first game. Spain also drew in their first match, which was the biggest surprise of the group stage so far, as Spain are one of the heavy favorites. But Cabo Verde had 40-year-old Brick Wall Vocinha in goal, who became a household name after making 7 big saves in this match, the third most in the tournament so far. Now, Spain had 49 shots, and yet they couldn't score a goal on Cabo Verde. But, guys, nobody should truly be panicking about Spain just yet.
Michael Oliver, the blast of the whistle, drowned by the roars of the fans. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, live inside the Houston Stadium for a fascinating, potentially fraught, particularly for the Netherlands, really important game of World Cup football. And the Netherlands have an extremely good record in the group stage games down the years. That long throw from the right has bounced over the dead ball line. Reinders was chasing, couldn't keep it in play. That'll be a goal kick to Sweden, who will play from right to left in this first half. They've only ever lost 2 group games out of 34, the Netherlands. This, their 12th World Cup. Famously against Scotland in 1978, Archie Gemmill and all that. And the last one, you have to go back to the last time we were in this country for a World Cup, when the Netherlands lost to Belgium by a goal to 0, but lose this one, and they are in a spot of bother, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. The pressure will really be on the Netherlands going into their last game. Yeah, they had just felt that they were careless twice ahead against Japan, and Japan equalising really late on. They've got to be really ruthless, but they have talent in their team. But Graham Potter's team, well, it's Potter with a plan, isn't it?
Dumfries of Inter Milan, ball forward for the Netherlands, breaks to Marlon here, 40 yards from goal, slides it into the path of Reinders, just left it behind him as he made ground into the Sweden penalty area. Out it comes to Gudmundsson, and Dumfries very quickly snapping into the challenge, bumps into his man and knocks it out for a Sweden throw in the left-back position, 0-0.
Yeah, I mentioned the Potter plan will be to defend deep and then to counter-attack swiftly. 2 up top, Isak and Gyökeres. They cost a few quid, didn't they, together. Isak, a disappointing season for Liverpool in the Premier League, but seems to be getting his fitness up to speed. Having said that, he's just been walloped.
Just been walloped on the back of the neck. He's going to be okay. A little bit sore. Throws his right arm out and says to Jan Paul van Hekke, what on earth are you playing at? So he's left one on him.
What the heck was that?
Jan Paul van Hekke looking in the close-up pics as the players entered the dressing rooms here at the Houston Stadium. Bit of a shiner, either from training or the first game, the 5-1 win against Tunisia. But there he is, stationed at centre-back alongside Virgil van Dijk. Sweden playing the ball around inside their own half. They come back to the goalkeeper, Christopher Nordfeldt, first choice at a major tournament for the first time. Clever flick on from Isak.
Offside.
Got to be offside, hasn't he? Yeah.
3 yards offside. But that's, you know, we've seen the Dutch in the early stages press the Swedes. But of course, with the physicality the Swedes have up top with Gyökeres and Isak, they can go direct into them and get their team up the pitch.
This is the 3rd all-European clash at this World Cup. England beat Croatia 4-2, Switzerland beat Bosnia 4-1, 11 goals across those 2 games, hoping for plenty more here. Dumfries just inside his own half, on the right. Really bright orange shirts, thin stenciled black numbers on the backs of them, black shorts, and the bright orange socks, which sort of melt into the bright orange boots if you're wearing those. Van Dijk, lofted ball over the top. Gravenberch is chasing it. Hien is right next to him. They're shoulder to shoulder. A little bit of wrestling there as they challenge for that ball, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Sweden. So 3.5 minutes in, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. First commentary of the evening is Netherlands 0, Sweden 0. Next one up at 9 o'clock. We watch the Germans stick 7 past Curaçao. They are playing Ivory Coast, who beat Ecuador in their first game, so that will be well worth a listen. Nordfeldt drives the goal kick downfield. Dumfries heads it up in the air, headed forward to Van Hekke. Half-volleyed, side-footed pass finds Brobby. First touch for him, chests it down, back to Marlon, and his pass takes a deflection and goes out for a throw-in to the Netherlands.
Yeah, Sweden not really trying to play that. You know, it's quite basic at this moment in time. They're going direct. It becomes a second ball game. Then in the middle of the park, it's the Dutch who are trying to play the football, and with the Swedish system, those quick switches of play against a back five, 2v1s in wide areas, they're going to be crucial for the Dutch.
Stadium was very noisy and bouncing with life before the game. A little bit quieter as the game's got underway.
Yeah, it's a bit tense, isn't it? What a stake for the old Dutch.
23-year-old goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen, all in green, away to our left. Virgil van Dijk winning his 94th cap, scored in the 2-2 draw against Japan. Plays back to Verbruggen, up it goes to Brobby. Good little layoff to Reinders. Support here on the left-hand side from Gakpo. Low cross in, and the Netherlands have scored. Brobby's on the end of it. Couldn't miss from there. Just 2 yards out. Netherlands under pressure going into this game. 5 minutes played, they worked it brilliantly. Netherlands 1, Sweden 0.
Inspired choice from Ronald Koeman. Went with Brobby up top as a central striker, and mentioned before the game, he has brilliant physicality. One long ball, and it's a lovely deft touch, lays it back. Ball popped out to the left-hand side. What does he do, Brobby? Follows his run into the box. The pass, the cross is brilliant from that wide left area. It's absolutely sensational from Brobby, that first touch, and then the ball's a delight, isn't it? Along the 6-yard line, Brobby, right-footed, pops it in. Inch perfect, the cross. Brobby just opens his right boot out. Pace on the ball, it's wonderful from Gakpo. Off the left. And what a start for the Dutch.
Sweden kick us off again. Netherlands lead Sweden 1-0. I think the Dutch could win it, Chris. Just changing my tune. Lindelof. No, it's a great start for them. Great start under a bit of pressure. Ronald Koeman, the manager, admitted he made mistakes in the opening game, the 2-2 draw against Japan, but they took the lead twice in that game and didn't hold it.
Yeah, and, you know, of course, he'll be desperate to see this game through, but, you know, he said he made mistakes. It's a good choice of striker, isn't it, Brobby? Yeah. I mean, his touch from the long ball from Verbruggen, excellent.
Good ball for Gyökeres to chase. Angle is tight, drives it low, and Verbruggen saves with his left foot.
There you were before the game, talking about nil-nils. Weren't you? I said there'd be goals.
You did. Always positive, Chris. You're always looking on the bright side.
That was a decent strike, though, wasn't it?
I think, I was just watching Gyökeres in the warm-up, and the hair was getting a little bit fluffy and sort of out of place, and I think he must reapply quite a lot of product before he starts playing again, because honestly, there is not a strand. That is properly slicked across his head. Netherlands 1, Sweden 0. Verbruggen's just made the save. They've worked the corner short. Isak's touch has let him down, but he was offside anyway. So that will be a free kick to the Netherlands.
That's a shame from Graham Potter's Sweden, their point of view. Oh, I don't think he was offside, you know, Isak. It's Benjamin Nygren, the Celtic midfielder, who took the corner. He's a lefty, Nygren. An excellent left foot. Can let the game pass him by at times, but his goals tally for Celtic last season, his instinct in terms of getting in the right place at the right time and nicking a goal was pretty extraordinary last season.
So, were the Netherlands to win this game, and we are very, very early on in it, coming up to 8 minutes played, they lead 1-0, Brobby with the goal. They would take themselves to 4 points. Sweden would be on 3. Tunisia, Japan, a game on BBC television at 5 in the morning. You can also hear it in full on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. They would be yet to play. Long, long way to go. Brian Brobby scored only his second goal for his country. Famously, of course, last season for Sunderland. Got the winner against Newcastle. That was a big moment for him. This one, I imagine, even bigger. Made a brief substitute appearance at the Euros a couple of years ago against England in the semi-final, but has started tonight. Got involved actually in the link-up play early on, but then worked that goal brilliantly. And as Chris was saying, the ball from Gakpo, I mean, just a centre-forward's dream to walk onto that and just slot it into the back of the net.
Left-footed from Gakpo, we always associate him off that left-hand side, coming inside with his brilliant right foot and getting shots off and crosses in, but shows he's got a left too.
Brobby, again, making it awkward for the defenders. On the dribbles, Gravenberch cut back into the penalty area, chested down by Isak, back helping there. Gyökeres comes thundering across to try and take the ball off Mickey van de Ven. He's just inside the Sweden half. Passes back to Van Dijk, quickly forward into midfield to Barcelona's Frenkie de Jong. Lovely, elegant footballer to watch, just strolling around the midfield, casually asking for the ball from Gravenberch, walking pace, looks to his right.
Yeah, he'll just knit everything together, won't he?
The knitter.
Yeah.
It's a good nickname, Chris. Van Dijk, Van de Ven, wide to the left, flicked.
He's
round the corner, Bobby again.
Michael Oliver.
Netherlands appealing for a foul as he backed into his man on the edge of the penalty area, not given. He immediately gets up, closes the clearance down from Lagerbielke, and it goes out for a throw to Sweden.
I thought it was a foul, and quite simply that the Swedish defenders cannot cope with Brobbey and his physicality. I'm mentioning his physicality, but he's had a number of wonderful touches as well. He's in the mood.
10 minutes in, Netherlands 1, Sweden 0. First time they've played each other in almost a decade. Last time was in a World Cup qualifier for Russia 2018. That was in Amsterdam. Arjen Robben scored twice. The Netherlands won the game, drew in Sweden, still finished third in the group and didn't even go to that World Cup. Sweden ended up beating Italy in the playoffs. Start of Italy's dreadful run of not qualifying for these major tournaments. Amazing to think again that they're not here playing at this World Cup. Here's Dumfries on the ball. Sweden in the blue shirt standoff. Marlon's made a run down the right-hand side, gets past Gudmundsson, floats across to the far post, nodded down here by Gakpo into the arms of the goalkeeper Nordfeldt, who will grab it gratefully, all in light grey. Sweden's keeper away to our right.
Marlon's got that acceleration, hasn't he, on that right-hand side. Gudmundsson, he's no slouch either, but Marlon took a couple of yards out of him to get that cross in. Very comfortable, isn't it, these opening stages for the Dutch?
Yeah. Gyökeres there getting physical with Van Dijk. No free kick given. Had a full handful of his shirt as they were challenging for a ball. A Dumfries cross comes in. Gakpo was nearly there. Important defending from Bernhardsson, the right wing-back for Sweden, to get the touch, to get in front of his man and knock it behind for a corner.
Well, what caught the Swedish defence out was the early cross from Dumfries. He's halfway into the Swedish half by the touchline and just fizzes a ball right-footed across, and Bernhardsson had to be alert and got back and made the clearance, which was a pretty crucial clearance.
We have played almost 12 minutes first half in the Houston Stadium. Third game here in this tournament. Chris and I'll be back here next week for a bit of Portugal-Uzbekistan. Corner for the Netherlands, whipped into the near post. Headed away by Gyökeres. Good distance on the header, and out it goes for a throw-in to the Netherlands on the left, who've got themselves ahead and are the better team in the game so far. So food for thought for Sweden's English manager Graham Potter, who described the playoff win against Poland that got them to this World Cup as an out-of-body experience and the best night of his career. Cross from the left from Gravenberch is lofted behind for a goal kick to Sweden.
I mean, it was such a big deal. We've already spoken about, you know, whether you like it or not, Sweden being here, finishing bottom of the qualification, the World Cup qualification group. But Graham Potter goes in, it took over from Jon Dahl Tomasson, and he just turned things around in a pretty short space of time. Sweden a little bit more pragmatic with the way that that they play, but what a start to the World Cup they've had.
Beat Tunisia 5-1, 1-0 down against the Netherlands here. Jan-Paul van Hekke heads it towards the halfway line. Awkward for Gravenberch, had to wait for it to come down. Glides away from two defenders, floats a ball diagonally, aiming for Gakpo. Headed away by Hien. That was Lagerbielke, I beg your pardon, who won the header, but immediately Netherlands possession again. Gakpo back heels the ball, keeps it. Faced up in midfield, just passes back to De Jong. De Jong's smooth low pass to his left. Got the pace of Van de Ven wide left for the Netherlands there. The imposing stature of the captain Van Dijk as he whips a low ball to Dumfries. Wide to Marlon. Marlon brings it in off the right. There's Gravenberch. Gravenberch moves away again from challenges. Low pass looking for Reinders. Reinders alert again inside the penalty area. Chases this one down. Bouncing ball. No, it's gone behind. Assistant referee's flag goes up. So Sweden will get the ball back. They trail Netherlands 1-0.
It's a feature of Reinders. He played for Manchester City, always making runs in behind. Defence is clever with his runs. I mean, this has been a stroll so far, hasn't it, for the Dutch? Sweden really struggling to impose themselves on this game. I don't think Graham Potter's bothered about possession. Rather than that Gyökeres effort, they haven't really carried a threat going forward. Here they are trying to build with, I think it's Ayari, a couple of goals in that first game. Interesting season at Brighton.
Here is Ayari on the ball, inside his own half, central position, plays it across to Lagerbielke, who now plays in Portugal for Braga. Reinders has won back possession, brings it forward quickly for the Netherlands, hits his shot with the left foot, takes a deflection, but actually last touch from him, and it goes behind for the goal kick. England's batsman up against it in the second test against New Zealand at the Oval. Latest comes from Ellie Oldroyd.
At least they made it a bit competitive in this evening's session. They're 175 for 4 England, so still 288 unlikely runs away from victory. But we've seen another Joe Root masterclass. He's on 70 currently. He passed 14,000 test runs on his way to that score. And earlier, Harry Brook made 58 before he was out for 97. We're, 15 minutes away from the close. 175 for 4.
Commentary continues on Radio 5 Sports Extra.
A little bit negative there with England, just rolling them out.
Did she roll them out?
Yeah, well,
Said
a bit
made
like you with the Netherlands, really. Don't write them off, Joe
No.
Root. Joe Root's still at the crease.
Yeah. Seen England chase some massive totals, this team, in recent years. Highlights of the cricket on BBC 2 at 7:30 tonight. Also available on the iPlayer, because obviously you'll be listening to this one all the way through. Netherlands 1, Sweden 0. We'll bring you updates as well of England against Scotland. That's a game at Headingley in the Women's T20 World Cup, which gets underway in about 15 minutes' time. So we'll keep you posted on what's going on there. And Northampton won the Premiership final, Gallagher Premiership final in the Rugby Union, beat Exeter 26-17. Dumfries, low cross on the right, slight deflection. Brobby! I think Brobby got the touch and has a second goal. Brilliant cross again from the right. Got in behind that Swedish backline. And the Netherlands helping themselves to goals in Houston. Brobby's going to claim the second. Netherlands 2, Sweden 0.
Yep, the life of Brian. Another tap in from Brobby. I mentioned those wide areas for the Netherlands. Dumfries down the right, Marlon on the inside, 2v1. Brilliant ball in, and Brobby getting that big right toe to the ball. And the ball squeezing past Nordfeldt in the Swedish goal. It's a brilliant cross in. Well, it takes a slight deflection. It's a brilliant cross. It takes a little bit of a deflection from Goodmanson. And Brobby gets on the end of it from 6 yards into the back of the net. And a Dutch double. And they are absolutely cruising at this moment in time. The Swedes are in shock.
Yeah. What a selection by Ronald Koeman. Possibly forced by the fact we heard Mario Melchiot saying that Crescencio Somerville may not have been fully fit, but Brobby is, I mean, the delivery to him for both has been pinpoint. But
Where
he
is
started
he?
really
Where
exactly,
is your
Chris.
Where is your centre forward in the 6-yard box,
He's
middle
in-
of the posts? Get in between the posts, in between the sticks, they say.
The position of maximum opportunity.
The Pomo.
That's it. Life of Brian. Like that. Mr. Brobby, of course. We've used that one as well before. But I tell you what, top goal scorer in the tournament so far, some chap called Lionel Messi and Jonathan David of Canada, both have helped themselves to hat-tricks. Plenty of players on 2 goals, and Brian Brobby has joined them within 19 minutes of this game. Netherlands 2, Sweden 0.
Goals per game. I mean, the average is there. I mean, we love an average in cricket, don't we? Goals per game.
Oh,
You
I
must be top scorer.
Goals per minutes played.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, good point. Also on 2, of course, Harry Kane,
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Mateus Cunha, Vinicius Junior,
It's brilliant, isn't
Kai
it?
Havertz. It's the World Cup, Chris. It's the World Cup. Coming thick and fast on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Yeah, the only thing which I haven't liked, we spoke about this, is in terms of the head-to-heads deciding groups rather than goal difference.
That is correct. So you were talking about Group A, weren't you, in particular, that we already know that Mexico going into the final game, even if they were beaten, their head-to-head is, if they were caught on points, their head-to-head is record is better than whoever could catch them.
Because they beat South Korea, who could catch them, and it's the same with the USA, isn't it? They are going to top the group.
Van Hekke, good pass through the lines to De Jong. Casual flick with the outside of the right boot. Here's Gravenberch. Netherlands coasting, leading Sweden 2-0. We don't really know what's hit them here. Marlon goes for the nutmeg on Gudmundsson. Turning inside his own half is Jesper Karlström, central midfielder for Sweden, who turns 31 tomorrow. Van Dijk, again with that easy long gait of his, eats up the yards, gets to the ball, back to Verbruggen, who's made that early save from Victor Gyökeres.
They've set up Graham Potter has with that extra defender in the back line, but Sweden are getting smashed in the middle of the park. De Jong just doing what he wants at this moment in time. And the Dutch have been a delight, haven't they, so far?
They really have, Chris. Van Hekke plays wide to Gakpo. He's going to try and use his pace to get away down the right-hand side. Bernhardsson claims that is a Swedish throw. He gets the decision.
I wonder whether Graham Potter will be thinking about a change of system, maybe going to a back four. Try and get an extra body in the middle of the park.
Lagerbielke very nearly got caught out by Gakpo on the corner of his own penalty area there. That's why you heard that little involuntary jump in my voice. Something similar in a bar in Houston last night as we were filming our latest social media video.
There was a bit of a different noise though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a cough and a splutter. If you find it, it's on the 5 Live Sport feed on social media, the BBC Sport feed as well. Sweden want a free kick here. They're not going to get that. That was the run from Nygren through the middle. Netherlands get the decision. They've taken the free kick early. Michael Oliver doesn't like that and pulls it back.
Yeah. I mentioned Benjamin Nygren earlier. I've seen a lot of him playing for Celtic. He doesn't have great dynamism, and in a foot race as it was there against Dumfries, there was only going to be one winner, and Nygren pulled Dumfries down.
Dumfries passes back to Van Hekke. Finds De Jong. De Jong.
One of the centre forwards has to work much harder, Gyökeres or Isak, and attach themselves to Frankie De Jong, because they're just popping the ball in between the two of them. De Jong's getting turned and making forward passes.
Free kick, Netherlands. Drinks break on the way, not called that over here. As you'll well know if you've listened to plenty of our coverage, De Jong chips it out towards Gakpo, whips a low cross in, stooping header away from Lindelof, lofted ball, Hien is there, heads it straight up in the air, nodded down gently by Brobby, touch from Van Dijk, lobs a header into the box. Dumfries was in position there to try and turn and shoot. There's a foul, referee spotted something, blows his whistle. Free kick for Sweden, who have been outthought, outmanoeuvred, outclassed, outscored in this game so far. They trail Netherlands 2-0.
It's been a Dutch demolition, hasn't it, in this opening quarter of the game. Here come the drinks, and actually I think this is good for Sweden because they just haven't been in it.
Been waiting to do this all tournament,
to the
Chris.
booze.
Yeah, that's for rehydration time. Come on, let's rehydrate. Right, players taking fluids on board. Brian Brobby scored twice. Netherlands lead Sweden 2-0. Cricket still going at the Oval. Here's Ellie Oldroyd.
Yes, and England have lost their 5th wicket. James Roux, who'd stuck around pretty effectively with Joe Root, but then just caught one. It was above the pads. It was actually in the groin area, I would say. It was not given out on the field, but then New Zealand reviewed. And it would have gone on to hit the stump. So I think that's what you call adding insult to injury, being out to a ball like that. But James Roux is on his way back, and Jordan Cox is coming out to join Joe Root, who has played in the way that you would want him to be the rock of the England innings. 73 not out, Joe Root. England 180 for 5, 283 still more needed to win, and you would heavily back New Zealand to take those final 5 wickets and level up the series at some stage, either in the next 7 minutes or tomorrow, or at least one of them. Maybe not 5 in 7 minutes, you know what I'm saying.
But Ellie, 3-test series, am I right?
3-test series, yep, and this 3rd and final test. So England won at Lords, obviously, then New Zealand likely to win here, and then the 3rd and final test starts next Thursday at Trent Bridge, so very short turnaround time. between those final 2 test matches, and it is highly unlikely. It's hard to foresee a situation where we won't see Ben Stokes, who got 95 for Durham today, coming back into the side. England have really missed him and missed his experience, and Gus Atkinson as well, who took 4 wickets for Surrey yesterday. So I think we will see the changes being rung again ahead of heading to Nottingham next week.
Thank you, Ellie. A minute left of the hydration break here. Test match special podcast for the day's wrap-up on the BBC Sounds app. Highlights on BBC 2 at 7:30, also available on the iPlayer. I mentioned England-Scotland in the Women's 2020 World Cup. Game at Headingley, which will be starting shortly. Phoebe Graham will be watching this for us.
Yeah, the undefeated England take on Scotland, who won the toss and have decided to bowl. You can just hear the national anthems going on behind me. England captain Nat Sciver-Brunt is nursing a calf injury still, so Sophia Dunkley comes in and bats 3. Charlie Dean will captain. Don't underestimate Scotland, though. They nearly beat West Indies on Thursday evening and are missing 2 players. Their strike bowler, Rachel Slater, and power hitter, Elsa Lister. So it should be a good contest here. Full stadium at Headingley. Scotland with the toss, and they will bowl first.
OK, thank you, Phoebe. Commentary on Sports Extra 2. It'll move on to Sports Extra at 7 o'clock. And don't forget, 3rd round of the US Open Golf underway. Commentary on that from 8 o'clock UK time on Sports Extra 3, and tomorrow final round from 8 o'clock on Sports Extra. Our breakfast show will be back live from LA on Monday. Tomorrow 10 o'clock in the build-up to the World Cup football. Colin Murray will be with you for a couple of hours. Katie Smith with 5 Live Sport from midday. Spain, Saudi Arabia, our first commentary tomorrow. At 5 o'clock in terms of the evening football. Obviously there's stuff in the early hours through the night in the UK. Ian Dennis and Paul Robinson will bring you Spain, Saudi Arabia tomorrow. Netherlands, Sweden, very much going Netherlands' way in a quiet Houston stadium. Netherlands leading 2-0. Sweden trying to build play just after the hydration break. Cross there is blocked down by the dead ball line. Reinders sweeps it away. On the turn is Ayari, 35 yards from goal. There's Karlstrom. Low pass with his right foot out to Bernhardsson. Good run made there by Ayari. Hits the cross on the spin. That's blocked and goes out for a throw-in to Sweden. So a good restart.
Yeah, it's probably their best spell of the game, isn't it? I mean, you know, we're clinging to things here, but actually a bit of patience there from Sweden in control of the ball, popping the passes around, and yeah, here we go, a Swedish long throw.
OK. 3 blue shirts in the 6-yard box. Lindelof on the goalkeeper's toes. Looping throw comes into the near post. He flicks it on. Volleyed attempt from Karlstrom is blocked and hits one of his own men and goes behind for the goal kick. That was Lindelof who took it. Looks like he's reacting a little bit like James Roux at the Oval, who sounds like he got one in the unmentionables.
Yeah,
Chris.
well, this was slightly different because it hit Lindelof in the nose.
Oh, yeah.
So probably still sore in its own way.
Yeah. Yeah, can't be nose before wicket though, can you? Well, you might be able to be, but that's unkind, sorry. Van Hecker passes left to Van Dijk. It's a stroll. It's an absolute stroll for the Netherlands at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're happy to drop back the Swedes in terms of they're a mid-block or a low block. You see Bernhardsson there, the Swedish right back. He's getting dragged here, there and everywhere. And there's that switch of play, quick switch of play. And Lagerbielke out 1v1 v Gakpo.
Gakpo chests the ball down, zips infield, passes back to De Jong. Just toying with Sweden here, Netherlands. Brobby's got both goals. Van Hecker's ball is ambitious and is cut out here by Bernhardsson. Making the run through the middle is Nygren. The pass is overhit, so Van Dijk says, thank you very much, I'll have that. Good first touch. Passes to Mickey van der Ven. Van der Ven goes wide to Gakpo. Gakpo gets his head down, starts a sprint. Lagerbielke tries to stick with him. Gakpo then lays the ball back to De Jong, 40 yards from goal. Pushes this pass to Van Hecker. Van Hecker in a central position, 30 yards out. That one takes a deflection. Isak gets a flick on it, chases his own ball there, pushes it forward to Gyökeres, who's wide on the left. Early cross in is a really good one, chested down by Ayari, and the controls let him down. Would have been difficult to hit first time, but if the first touch was good, he would have had a great chance.
Could he not have headed it?
Maybe.
But I get why he tried to take the ball down on his chest, because he did have time. Brilliant break from Sweden. And the cross from the left-hand side from Victor Gyökeres, absolutely sensational. Has a look up. Hayari's made the forward run into the middle, left-footed. I mean, it's a laser-like pass. It's a brilliant pass, and Hayari just too heavy with his chest control, and the chance went begging. I mean, wonderful from Gyökeres, wasn't it, the ball? Inch perfect. Hayari wastes that opportunity for Sweden.
Had the Gyökeres shot early on, saved by Verbruggen. That was a decent chance for Sweden as well. Got to try and get themselves back into this game as soon as they can. Their last game against Japan in Dallas. That's a tester. But they
we are there.
We're there. They're letting us loose on television, Chris, for that one.
Oh, God.
I know. Well, no, I mean, well, yeah. Here's Nordfeldt. Nordfeldt plays to his left to Lindelof. Gudmundsson. Low pass up towards Isak, flicks it round the corner. Nice little pass from Gyökeres back to Isak, weaving pretty patterns of Sweden. Nygren's there, good run being made by Bernhardsson in the middle. Van der Ven's got it covered. Side foots it away first time. That's out for a throw-in to Sweden on the left.
And lovely link-up play from the twin striker duo of Sweden. But Isak should have gone out right with that pass. He went left to Nygren. Bernhardsson was in acres of space, and I think he would have been through on goal. Isak took the wrong option.
There's a lovely first-time ball from Gyökeres, and it's a driven shot. I think that took a touch off Van Hecke. Will that go behind for a corner? No, it was just a swerving effort. Came off the outside of his right boot from Hayari. So that's going to be a goal kick. It's interesting, Chris, on the front two for Sweden. So Graham Potter sort of came in touch with them both quite early on in their career. So he was Brighton manager when Gyökeres was at Brighton, so saw him as a young striker. And then Isak, I think Isak might have made his debut in Sweden as a 16-year-old. And Graham Potter was in charge of Östersund at the time and looked at the team sheet and thought, oh, 16-year-old up front will be OK there. Then watched the fella play and thought, he's quite useful.
Yeah, and, you know, he's had an excellent career. I mean, this last season has been difficult for him, you know, wanting to leave Newcastle. I don't think he necessarily covered himself in glory with that, but then injury ravished at Liverpool.
Van Dijk. Left-footed pass to Van der Ven. Sweden closing down. Gyökeres is going to chase the back pass, which is aimed at Verbruggen. He was off balance. He spooned the ball up in the air. It bounces once wide on the left-hand side. Gakpo gets his forehead on it, over his shoulder from Lagerbielke. And that goes out for a throw into the Netherlands. Lagerbielke, was it a couple of seasons at Celtic, Chris, but spent one of them on loan away at 20, didn't he?
Brendan
Big
Rodgers
hit.
didn't really fancy him at Celtic. He did score the winner in a Champions League game, a header against Feyenoord, but he barely played, and I think it was, you know, a great surprise to many Celtic fans when they saw him, you know, getting the nod in the Swedish team, because I think there's Carl Starfelt is on the Swedish bench as well, who was a regular for Celtic for a couple of seasons under Ange Postecoglou.
He has a barony in the family as well, doesn't he, Lagerbielke? Brobby with a touch. He's going to run hard, flicks it around the corner, chases that himself.
He has a what?
A barony, as in a title in the family, has sort of, what would you say, kind of regal, it's not regal, is it, but heritage, yeah.
Okay,
so
a little bit like yourself.
Yeah, I don't use it though, Chris. Here's Lindelof, across to Hean, the centre-back, out to Bernhardsson, finds Isak, bit of space to work with, running at the Dutch midfielder, forward to Gyökeres, couple of touches, scuff shot, Verbruggen saves it easily. Link-up play was good again.
It is, and it's coming, actually, it came from Benjamin Nygren, a good forward run, just cleared a bit of space in the middle of the park. Isak in off the left-hand side, popped a lovely ball to Gyökeres, and it just looked like for a second Van Hecke was out of position, but he got back, worked off Gyökeres' first touch, and got back and made a pretty crucial block.
12 minutes left in the first half. Netherlands 2, Sweden 0. Brian Brobby with the goals in the 5th minute and the 17th minute. And next break in play will take you back to the Oval. Stumps for the day there. New Zealand well in control of the second test. So when the ball next goes out of play, we'll get the details on that from Ellie Oldroyd. Here's Van Hecke with the bright blonde hair to De Jong. Little step over smoothly moves away from Karlstrom, back to de Jong for the Netherlands. Central position, long way out though. Doesn't fancy a hit from there.
He hasn't broken sweat, has he?
No. De Jong, Van Dijk. He called him De Jijk there. De Jong, again on the ball. Sweden player sort of tiptoeing towards him. Here is Van Dijk. Van Dijk wide to Van de Ven, back to Van Dijk again. All of this inside the Sweden half, just trying to draw this Swedish defence towards them and look to try and move in for the kill. Again, already comfortably leading by 2-0. There's de Jong. De Jong across to Van Hecker. Van Hecker immediately gives it back to de Jong. Van de Ven's in space on the left. De Jong drops a shoulder, goes straight instead towards Marlon, stretches. Couldn't quite get it on the end of it. Nice idea. Bounces behind for the goal kick. So, final score today at the Oval from Ellie Oldroyd.
Close of play, 182 for 5 England. They still need another 281 runs to win tomorrow or somehow survive 90 overs. New Zealand need 5 more wickets, but it has been Joe Root's afternoon, 75 not out for England's greatest of all time. And yeah, I think New Zealand, you'd have thought, will win it tomorrow, but it's been a very good final session from England today. Mind you, that bar is pretty low. It's been their best of the Test match so far.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. Commentary.
I think Ellie was right.
Yeah. Very wise. Commentary, again on Sports Extra tomorrow from the Test match special team. Germany, Ivory Coast next up tonight in terms of the World Cup football. Kicks off at 9 o'clock. We've got full commentary on that one. And just been handed a stat from the studio back in England that Brian Brobby's second goal means the Netherlands as a nation have become the 8th nation to reach 100 World Cup goals. I've not got the other 7 written down. That might be a good little quiz question for the listeners in the second half. I think we could have a pretty good guess at who they'd be. Some of the candidates. The ball is chested down by Bernhardsson on the right. Rolls it back here to Lager Bielka. There's Karlstrom. Gakpo forces Lager Bielka to play back to Hien.
What was this, 100 goals?
100 goals as a nation. Brobby scored the 100th. Lovely touch and lay off into midfield, and forward it comes to Isak, who flicks it around the corner. Gyökeres saved by Verbruggen. Pretty comfortably low to his left, but again the build-up from Sweden really good. Cross comes into the near post. De Jong is there and heads it away. Netherlands 2, Sweden 0. 9 minutes left in the first half. Karlstrom lets the ball run across his body, and Sweden are back with the ball on the halfway line.
The drinks break has changed everything, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And Sweden looking at, well, much sharper.
Dumfries running onto the ball in his own half. Goodmanson makes a challenge. Dumfries holds him off. Passes back to Van de Ven. Van de Ven slows everything down. Walking pace again. And there's Van Dijk. Just swings a right leg at the ball. Passes it low out to Dumfries. And then de Jong inside his own half. Van Dijk rumbles up alongside him. Short pass to Van de Ven. Back it comes to the goalkeeper, Verbruggen. Forward to de Jong. De Jong with a little dummy, runs past the ball to try and throw off the attentions of Nygren. Scampers forward across the halfway line. Van de Ven starts going through the gears down the left here. Full pace down to the byline, gets the cross in. Not great contact on that. Lindelof clears it away at the near post. Nygren gets onto it in the right back position. Hustled out of possession here. Gakpo tries to nip between 2 defenders, blocked by Lager Bielka. He's given the ball away. De Jong slides it across to Gravenberch. Gravenberch to Reinders. Reinders helps it on to Marlon inside the penalty area on the right, crossing towards the far post. Bernhardsson with the header away, chested down by Gravenberch just outside that penalty area. 3 blue shirts clustered around him, turns back and finds de Jong. Van de Ven quickly wide here to Gakpo. Gakpo gets the ball on his right foot outside the area, hits it low, one bounce straight into the chest of the goalkeeper Nordfeldt, who makes the save. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, they moved the ball swiftly there, the Dutch, and get the ball out to Gakpo on that left-hand side. He's 1v1 with Lager Bielka. Lager Bielka not really comfortable in that position, and Gakpo gets a shot off inside on his right foot. Seen that many times, but normally finds a corner.
Sweden with possession again. Lager Bielka in the right back position. Gakpo blocks the clearance. Lager Bielka gets his right foot on the ball and just hoists it straight up in the air. Karlstrom comes back to try and help out, heads it forward about 10 yards, but Sweden causing themselves a problem there. Bouncing ball. De Jong nods it back to Van Hecker. Netherlands lead Sweden 2-0. Van Dijk plays to Van der Ven. England next in action, of course, against Ghana on Tuesday night. So the 6 o'clock game that evening is Portugal-Uzbekistan. We'll be inside this stadium for that one. 9 p.m. Tuesday night, England against Ghana. After the 4-2 win against Croatia, Reinders plays it to his left. Gakpo's having fun out there. Good burst of speed. Gets to the byline. Cross comes in. Dumfries just over his head. Slightly misjudged the flight of that.
Yeah. Brilliant from Gakpo. Good feet from Isak defensively, but driving to the byline. Left-footed Gakpo, this one.
De Jong's nicked it off Ayari. Marlon pounces onto it. Low cross beyond the far post. Brobby's in for the hat-trick there. Better cross. And he would have had 3 in the first half, and we'd have had 3 hat-tricks at this World Cup already. Yeah,
I think Marlon was in two minds there, where, I mean, quite a tight angle on that right-hand side, driving into the box. But I was thinking for a second, he quite fancies this, and then I think he saw Brobby at the far post and was in two minds. It wasn't far away from the far post, was it? Right-footed, yard or two away past that far post.
5 minutes plus added time remaining at the end of the first half. It's been a stroll on a steamy Houston Saturday afternoon, but under the roof inside this stadium. Aaron Paul will pick up presenting duties at half-time. I think Mario Melchiot joining us again at full-time after this game as we build up towards Germany, Ivory Coast. And here comes Sweden down the right, back to Lagerbielke. Immediately gives it back to Bernhardsson. Trying to get away from Van der Ven. Slow pass to Lagerbielke. Sweden come back into their own half. Hien plays it across to Victor Lindelof, who of course finished the season playing as a holding midfielder for Aston Villa. Isak forward to Ayari, space, hits a good shot, rising drive over the bar and behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, he's got forward to good effect, Ayari, and Isak is playing more out on this left-hand side. I don't know by design or whether that's an instruction from Graham Potter, but Ayari in space, 19-20 yards out. He should hit the target. Wasn't any real pressure on him. And went over the bar. They have had the chances, haven't they, Sweden?
When I said good shot, I meant sort of well struck, because obviously it wasn't that good, because it went
3 yards over.
3 yards over the bar, De Jong, powerful header forward. Reinders battles for that one. Nodded down by Ayari. De Jong uses his body there to hold off Nygren. Passes back to Van Dijk, who swats a right arm at one of his teammates to get them moving. Van Hecke plays it back to Van Dijk. Jan Paul Van Hecke, who was the nephew of Jan van Poortvliet, who played for the Netherlands in the 1978 World Cup final in Buenos Aires, a game they lost by 3-1. One of their 3 World Cup final appearances. They are yet to win one. Won the Euros, of course. Ronald Koeman played in that team in 1988, the famous Van Basten volley in the final against the Soviet Union. Van Basten got a hat-trick against England in the group stages at that tournament, but they've never won the World Cup. Here's De Jong. Can they do it this year? Reinders back to De Jong. It's the question we've been asking on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Gravenberch cleverly lets the ball run across his body, fools Isak. Wide it comes to Dumfries. Third goal before half-time would kill this as a contest, you would feel. But Netherlands patient. Come back to Van Hecke inside his own half. Cross to Van Dijk. Controls it with the instep of his right boot. Waits for Gyökeres to come towards him. Van Hecke available on his right. Oh, Reinders is annoyed. He made a good run between the centre-backs there. Marlon, pacey dribble. Support from Dumfries. Cross comes in from the right. Deflected by the defender. And down on it is the goalkeeper, Nordfeldt.
Questioning whether there was a hand in there. Across from Dumfries. There's acres of space on that right-hand side. Oh, I tell you what, I think they
must be looking, Chris.
Yeah, I think the defender here, I don't know whether it was Gudmundsson or not, but leant towards the ball and hit him on the arm.
Jared Gillett, video assistant referee, the Australian for this one. Gudmundsson, powerful run forward. Eventually dragged down to the floor. Free kick for Sweden. They're trailing by 2-0.
Yeah, that was good from Gudmundsson. And it's a double team from the Dutch. Gravenberch and Van Hecke bring him down, and this is an opportunity to nick one back before half-time for the Swedes.
Netherlands leading 2-0. going top of the group as it stands on 4 points. Sweden with the win against Tunisia would be on 3. Japan are on 1, Tunisia on none. 5 a.m. so in the early hours, BBC Television and 5 Live and BBC Sounds will have commentary coverage of Tunisia against Japan. At 1, it's Ecuador, Curacao. Nygren's delivery, left foot, headed in! Sweden are back in the game. Lagerbielke bravely up against the goalkeeper. The flag's up, it's not going to count. Lagerbielke's reaction told you immediately that he knew. The delivery was superb. It came in at pace, in between the defenders and the goalkeeper. Lagerbielke probably knew he was going to get a whack there, but got the contact. The ball's ended up in the back of the net, and the assistant referee is saying offside. Chris Sutton will have a look at the replay.
Let's have a look. Oh, it's tight, because Lagerbielke, the goal scorer, I think De Jong, it's very close between De Jong, who's in the near post space, and Lagerbielke. They'll be drawing the lines, but you're right, the ball from Nygren was absolutely delightful. Verbruggen came, and Lagerbielke just nipped in front of him. Brave as you like. Oh, it was the correct decision.
Offside.
That was marginal, wasn't it?
Tight.
Centimetres did for the Swedes.
Again, I wonder if it was one of those where the assistant referees, they get that buzz now, don't they, on a really tight one, to sort of encourage them to put the flag up, but VAR have checked it, so it's going to remain Netherlands 2, Sweden 0. 4 minutes of added time remaining at the end of the first half. That really could have livened it up from the neutrals' point of view. Gakpo speeding towards Bernhardsson, beyond him, keeps the ball in play, cross beyond everyone. Isak's back there, very casual sort of touch with the back heel. Isak trying to win a header. Van Hecke comes charging in to climb above him, nods it out of play for a throw into Sweden in the left back position. Ball is thrown to the feet of Lindelof. So yeah, final games in this group. Netherlands, Tunisia in Kansas City. Sweden, Japan in Dallas. And those will be played, well, our time over here, Thursday the 25th of June, 6 p.m. here for that Japan game in Dallas. That will be midnight in the UK, so that's taking you into the early hours of Friday morning. The group deciders. Karlström forward to Gyökeres. Nice layoff to Ayari. Ayari tries to dance past Dumfries. Fouled. Free kick, shooting position right on the edge of the box, right at the end of the first half for Sweden.
Just played through the centre of the Dutch midfield there. Really easy, good from Karlström, and Ayari has taken up some brilliant positions, hasn't he, in forward areas, just finding those little areas of space. Wins the free kick, and this is dangerous for the Dutch.
Interesting conversation to be had between two high-profile strikers here, Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres.
Nygren's there as well, isn't he? But you think from the left-hand side of the box, you think it suits a right footer more.
Yeah,
I have seen Nygren score a couple for Celtic, but from the other side, where it suits his left foot.
Five-man wall. I mean, it's so well condensed that. Yeah, they do. I was struggling to see whether they've got someone in the draft excluder role, but they do. I've just spotted a pair of orange socks.
Tall wall, isn't it? The
tall
Dutch.
Wall.
They're a tall nation, aren't they?
Yeah. Right. We think it's going to be Gyökeres. It could be Nygren. Verbruggen's just to the left of the centre of his goal. So Gyökeres, I think, will fancy that top right corner. Whistle blows. Gyökeres studies the ball, whips it with his right foot, goes the other way, and Verbruggen is there to palm it away with his left hand. What do I know?
Yeah, look, I think it's one where Verbruggen, he should save it. He has that giant wall, that massive wall, and is saying to Gyökeres, if you can get it up and over my tall wall, then good on you. But if you want to try and beat me my side, well, you're not going to, and he didn't. Comfortable save in the end.
Minute left in the first half. Netherlands 2, Sweden 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Volley with the left foot, well off target. Worth a try late in the first half from Nygren. And behind it goes for a goal kick to the Netherlands.
So just seeing this effort again from Gyökeres, comfortable for Verbruggen. You often see goalkeepers take a step, don't you? That's why they get caught when the ball goes their particular side. Verbruggen confident in his wall.
Just 23 years old, the Brighton keeper, started all the games at Euro 2024, very much first choice in the Dutch squad. You've got Mark Flecken as one of the backup keepers. Robin Roofs as well, of course, who had such an impressive season at Sunderland, but Verbruggen very much the number one. Free kick taken quickly by Sweden. Bernhardsson is here on the right-hand side, turns away from Van der Ven. Van der Ven wins the battle. De Jong is there to help. Moves away down the left, just got the ball caught between his feet, but Van der Ven is able to fire it forward, intercepted by Karlstrom, brought down by Ayari, nearly tackled there. Ayari turning away from the challenge, brings it forward and then tries to thread one through to Gyökeres. Back it comes to Ayari, he was alert there, got the rebound, gives it back to Gyökeres inside the penalty area, rolls it back here to Ayari, goes near post and Verbruggen gets down well and smothers it behind for a corner to Sweden. It'd be much, much better in the second half of the first half.
Absolutely, it changed things, hasn't it? And Ayari is becoming more and more involved, more and more prominent. Should have done better with that earlier cross from Gyökeres, but decent effort there. Left-hand side of the box, laces it, puts his foot through it, and Verbruggen, it's a smart save down to his right-hand side. That big Dutch right hand of his.
Very definition of a smart save. Corner. In from the left. Verbruggen tries to come through a host of bodies to punch it away. Successful. Michael Oliver blows the half-time whistle. And the Dutch got off to an absolute flyer here. They lead 2-0 at half-time. The change made by the manager before the game saw Brian Brobby come in for Crescencio Somerville. And what an impact the Sunderland centre-forward has had. Two delicious crosses, one from the left from Gakpo, the other from the right from Dumfries, which took a slight deflection, but he was in the right place at the right time to score the two goals.
Yeah, because remember back in... Well, Spain is back in action on Sunday at noon Eastern for match day 2 of the group stage. They'll be taking on Saudi Arabia, who drew 1-1 with Uruguay in their first game. Spain also drew in their first match, which was the biggest surprise of the group stage so far, as Spain are one of the heavy favorites. But Cabo Verde had 40-year-old Brick Wall Vosinha in goal, who became a household name after making 7 big saves in this match, the third most in the tournament so far. Now, Spain had 49 shots, and yet they couldn't score a goal on Cabo Verde. But, guys, nobody should truly be panicking about Spain just yet, because remember back in 2022, we saw Argentina fall to Saudi Arabia in the opening match, but then they went in to win the whole thing. So, Mateo, you think that Spain could potentially follow in that same path as Argentina did just 4 years ago?
Of course. I mean, we went into this tournament and it was Spain and France at the top of everyone's list. We saw the first game where they didn't have the two weapons that we were all very excited about, right? To get that blend of tiki-taka with now these two wingers that could terrorize you. It's hard to double-team them both constantly, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. Even though Nico Williams hasn't had the best season domestically, he's had some injury problems, but really exciting to see them all together.
¿Qué es eso? La mano. ¿Qué miras? ¡Anda para allá, mano!
You think that Spain can do it?
Yes.
I'm thinking Saudi Arabia over Argentina like 2022. You know, they're going to pull out this major upset. For me, I look at Spain, and of course they have the quality, but they're lacking something when I'm watching it. And it can't be just as simple as, oh, if Lamine Yamal's on the pitch, you know, for 90 minutes versus, you know, him coming on as a substitute. I just feel that whether it's a killer striker, and I know they've kind of had Oyarzabal do it, they've had you know, Mikel Merino at times, but for me, they're missing something. When you look at England play right now, or France, Argentina, I just think that Spain, and they still have time to figure it out, but at the moment, their form is not screaming world champions.
I think two teams, right, with the engines of Portugal and with Spain. We saw them kind of falter in match day one, if you will. And I say all the time, I want to see 2 games before I really make a judgment. This is Spain. I look at this roster. I look at these players. Lamine Yamal getting closer. He said he can't play 90 minutes, but getting closer. I don't know how you can possibly even think about counting them out just yet in any way, shape, or form.
Well, let's bring another voice into the conversation. Guillaume Balaguer, our CBS Sports Spanish football correspondent, who is in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh,
because
beautiful
that is
Chattanooga.
that is where Spain's camp
is great.
Have you been enjoying it so far, Guillaume?
It's been busy, but I know the places to go.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a very non-answer answer.
Yeah, did you end up shopping at Walmart with Lamine Yamal by chance? I saw him strolling.
I've been to Walmart.
Oh, beautiful.
Not with Lamine Yamal,
Okay.
but we crossed paths with one or two of the Spanish internationals. I even had time to go to Nashville. Oh my God, great.
Absolutely fantastic. I love this. Guillaume, I need you to be documenting your time in the U.S. just as everybody else has, because we've been enjoying seeing it. I would love to see you out in Walmart and Nashville.
I'd love to see Guillaume roll up to a family barbecue.
Could you imagine him with a hat with the boots?
Hey,
cowboy boots?
Get this guy some ribs.
I did some reels in Nashville, which is absolutely crazy. It's like a Saturday. It was only a Tuesday. It was like any other Saturday, like Saturday evening in Liverpool. It was like that, but like 16 hours from 2 o'clock. Now it's great. And I'm discovering that people are extremely nice, really, really nice. And as always, when you go into a World Cup and you go into a country that you don't know very well, you get to know it better. And you destroy a lot of myths and lies that get told about the country. So very, very welcoming part of the world is Tennessee.
Well, Guillaume, looking at Spain, again, we were asking if they could potentially follow in the path that Argentina did 4 years ago, falling in their first game, but then going on to win it all. Do you see Spain being able to turn it around and get to that same pathway?
The simple answer is yes, absolutely. But let me put you the context so you know where we stand and why, as Charlie was saying, we haven't seen the best Spain yet. In the press conference after the Cabo Verde game, Luis de la Fuente had changed his tone and got a little bit tense when he was asked about tactics. And he came out with a line that he didn't need to use, but he used it. We haven't lost in 32 games. 32 games. Okay, so he's trying to say, and he said it since then, we know what we got wrong, we're going to correct it, and we are much better than it looked. Then I started digging into the story, why he was feeling like that. And partly was his own fault. They actually thought Cabo Verde were going to play like they did against Cameroon in the qualifiers. Man-to-man, pressure high, so let's put another midfielder so we can beat that pressure. That's why Gavi was there. And all of a sudden, he finds that Cabo Verde was defending on the edge of the box, and he didn't have the wingers. Not only he didn't have the wingers, they weren't ready to come on. Apart from Jeremy Pino, we don't know why he didn't come on. But Nico has got 20 minutes in him. Lamine Yamal only came in the minute 71 because he only had about that 20-25 minutes in him as well. And then if you put wingers, you have to put somebody that heads the ball well, and that's Mikel Merino, who's recovering from injury. On top of that, 3 days ago, Victor Munoz, the other winger, got injured. So now they know we need to have wingers, and we need to have also more fluidity in the middle. Rodri's not 100%, but if you put Olmo in, who Lamine Yamal wants next to him, then the ball moves a little bit quicker and players go running behind. So these are the kind of conversations that have taken place in the last few days. As you can imagine, with a draw, everybody thinks they have the solution. The players that didn't play, they think they need to play. The ones that only play 20 minutes want to play 60. And there is a little bit of turbulence, if you like, but it's just typical. And I think Luis de la Fuente has been saying to everyone, calm down, we're going to get better.
Sounds like France 2010.
Really is important.
So Guillaume, the message from the manager is calm down, let's stay calm. I know you're in Tennessee. I'm sure you're still keeping up with what AS and Marca are saying back in your wonderful homeland. So is there a sense of panic from the Spanish national media? How are all the fans taking that first result and also seeing the way that Spain can move forward?
It's not panic, but the questions were legitimate questions. Why the substitutions in the minute 71, the early ones, when you could see from minute 5 that Cabo Verde was defending so deep? Why not wingers? Why not Jeremy Pino? What's wrong with physically, with the players, with Lamine, with Nico? These are typical questions. And also, 5 days between games, they're too long. You have to fill about 13 pages in those newspapers, just discussing absolutely everything. But it's been important that Luis de la Fuente has got next to him not only a psychologist, but also Aitor Caranca, former Boro manager, former youth coach with Spain and in Spanish international. And between everyone, they're just finding the ability to block themselves from the noise and realize what's important. And what's important is to make sure that those wingers are getting fitter, that the idea remains, that everybody gets the confidence they need to continue the tournament.
Well, Guillaume, we appreciate it so much. I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon. And next time we do, I expect more Western look. I want cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, or something along those lines.
You got a nice little tan going on too, Guillaume.
Yeah, he does.
That's a nice little Chattanooga tan.
Yeah, it's so warm here. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, I get my half an hour sun every day, yeah.
There you go. We enjoy it. Well, take care of yourself, Guillaume. Put on that sunscreen.
McDelivery, you in?
I'm in. Yeah, I well fancy a fillet of fish. Expand your palate.
Bring it home with McDelivery.
¿Qué es eso? La mano. ¿Qué miras? Anda para allá, mano.
Speaking about that Brazil team that we got to see yesterday, Matheus Cunha getting 2 goals in this match. Do you think maybe that signifies to you that maybe they should have started him in that match versus Morocco? Maybe it would have made even more of a difference in that match, seeing the way that he played yesterday?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he didn't start given the pace that he has. I know Igor Thiago is a bigger striker. He missed a golden chance that came across the 6-yard box, and his header, he just continued it on outside of the box. It was a weird finish. But ultimately, Matheus Cunha gives you a little bit more flexibility because he's got the pace, he'll run the channels, he'll do the dirty work. I think it aligns more with Vinny Jr. because then Vinny Jr. can play off of him and they can occupy different spaces. So ultimately, I think it enhances Brazil going forward. But this is still not the Brazil that we're used to. Ultimately, I'm still underwhelmed watching them, even with Rafinha, who apparently has a hamstring strain now. But watching them play, I'm not getting any of the jogo bonito that you would expect from a Brazil. There's no flair. We get more flair from the U.S. men's national team than we do Brazil.
But are you seeing little glimpses where you see Brazil building up in every single game with that flair?
No, not at all.
It's been gone for a while, jogo bonito.
Yeah,
right?
Surely you could say that maybe they're improving, but they're playing against Scotland.
Yeah.
Against Morocco was far better. Morocco looked like what you would expect from Brazil. They have the flair, their creativity. You talk about Hakimi, Bouhaddi, Saibari, who has been doing this with PSV, so it's no secret that this guy's a baller. I mean, I've seen him in Champions League pulling out some incredible performances, so it's not like he's been flying under the radar. Now he's doing it just on the world stage, so for me, this Moroccan side is a team you don't want to
Brazil
face.
have, to me, 3 weaknesses. The fullbacks, especially with Wesley, who had to leave the tournament with Roma. They called up Ederson, a central midfielder, to replace him. They still have Alexandro and Danilo, 2 guys in their mid-30s that, imagine with all the pacey wingers coming at you, like, they could get caught out there. The midfield looked slow and lacking technique against Morocco, where Bouhaddi and El Ainaoui were by far running the show. The striker situation, yes, Cunha, a much better performance, but still, we're so far away from the Brazil that we all grew up with in the 2000s and in the 90s that had generational superstars. And I think that's why you got such a loud ovation when Neymar was called up. I don't think it was an ovation because the Brazilian fans necessarily thought Neymar would actually influence the game too much, because Neymar's had injuries. He's in the twilight of his career. He's barely played football, even though he's in the domestic league now. Neymar is a representation of what they used to be. Neymar is the closest thing they have now to the jogo bonito. That is, Tony's right, is long gone. Even though he's playing at maybe 20% of his powers, just that little glimpse of like a little elastica or something fun to get them excited. Even though the Brazilians, they just want results, Neymar at least embodies that. So if he plays, great. I think that's a good storyline.
I feel, even though that era is gone, when I watch Brazil, I still feel like there's more, right? The jogo bonito and the flair went away when pretty much all the players started going to Europe, right? Because then they were playing a different style of football. But I still feel when I watch this team, like I'm always wanting more. We watched this at downtown, and by the way, it's incredible downtown to see just the streets filled with the yellow jerseys again, and every bar had the game on. And they were certainly rooting for this, but the idea was like, where is that? Where's the sense like they're building something right now? I said after match day 1, I feel the same way. This is very much Carlo Ancelotti's like Real Madrid teams, where it's like about moments. It's not really like there's a flow and a rhythm to every movement, you know? There's a moment, Vinny Jr. in the first game, incredible goal. And then for a little while goes missing, and then there's some moments where he dribbles some, and it's never, it doesn't feel like we're getting towards that. But then I look at the names on paper, and yeah, a little bit older, no doubt about it, and maybe not nearly as fast, but shouldn't be in awe, shouldn't lack technique, shouldn't lack the tactical nous to figure out the game. But that's what I feel like when I watch Brazil. Like, I'm not a fan of Brazil. I'm a fan of the game. I want to be entertained. When I see that yellow jersey, there's just something about it that says, I want to sit down and drink my glass of iced tea, and I want to be entertained for 90 minutes. Well, and yeah. I don't get that feeling.
Well, when you watch Brazil, not only are you not entertained, you can clearly see whoever's playing against Brazil has there's no fear factor. Zero. They've lost the ability to strike fear into opponents before they take the field. That was always Brazil. I'll never forget, you look at the 94 team with Bebeto and Romario, then to Fenomeno, and then to, the Ronaldinho, Kaká, Adriano phenomenal on the older side. But you always felt that they had that fear factor. And then even when we played them in Confederations Cup in 2009, they didn't have a Romario, a Bebeto, a Ronaldo, but they had a Luis Fabiano who was still up and coming. You had Dani Alves and Maicon. You had outside fullbacks that were bombing. You had Lucio, you had stability, and Kaká in the middle, still the playmaker.
Yeah. Who's their playmaker now? Lucas Paquetá.
And you have Robinho, who's capable of those magical moments, and Apato, who could stretch opponents and give you the speed factor with a little bit of class. Now you're watching, and I'm saying,
get 2 free view tickets on us and experience his genius.
I believe music can change the world.
Watch Michael in cinemas now with Sky Cinema.
You see this? It's called an aglet. Without it, your shoelaces would fall apart. Well, your DNA has something very similar, and they're called telomeres. And they act like the little plastic tips in your DNA and protect it from fraying and falling apart. Here's how it works. Every time your cells divide, which happens constantly as your body repairs and renews itself, your telomeres get a little bit shorter. Imagine, it's like the plastic tip wearing down every time you tie your shoelaces. Eventually, when your telomeres get too short, your cells can't divide anymore. They age, they die, and so do you. Telomere length is literally a predictor of how long you have left to live. Now, scientists have been studying telomeres for decades. They won a Nobel Prize for the research. But more recently, researchers discovered something especially exciting for coffee drinkers. Before I explain, I'm Alex, founder of XL Coffee, and I'm here to offer you a free bag of our ridiculously healthy coffee. Just click the link on this video or scan the QR code and tell me where to send your free bag of coffee. And if you do it today, I'll even cover the cost of shipping, so you won't pay a single penny. But first, back to telomeres. Researchers followed NHS nurses and discovered something remarkable. Moderate coffee drinkers had telomeres equivalent to people 5 years younger. 5 years.
Penalty area, little left-footed pass in for the run of Ayari. Karlstrom comes sliding in, penalised for a foul there. Was desperate to win that ball back and keep the attack going, and he's caught Reinders. Here's another little stat for you at the start of the second half. The Netherlands haven't been beaten other than on penalties, so I'm talking about not been beaten in 90 minutes or 120 minutes in their last 13 World Cup matches since they lost the final to Spain in 2010. That equals Brazil's record, the great Brazilian team, between 58 and 66. They could stretch that record today.
And that's why I was surprised that you dismissed them so quickly. They are a talented team. You have to look at the players they have in the team. I suppose as far as today's game is concerned, they really just need a strong performance in this second half to get the job done.
Van Hecker towards Gravenberg, inside right channel, allowed to get his head up and cross in. Ball is sliced up in the air. Reinders trying to turn. It's cleared away from him. Comes back to Van Dijk. Van Dijk nods it to his left-hand side. So, Bart Verbruggen in goal, called to make a few saves in the first half. Best one probably low to his left with his left boot from the Gyökeres early strike. Otherwise, saves you would have expected him to make. Here's Somerville, dancing feet, twisting and turning into the penalty area. Dumfries with the cross, far post, Gakpo. Netherlands pulling Sweden apart. They've scored a third right at the start of the second half. And again, Ronald Koeman, what a brilliant selection to get Somerville on there at half-time. He dazzled with the dribbling inside the penalty area, played it into Dumfries, and again, Gakpo couldn't miss. Netherlands 3, Sweden 0.
Yep, sharp from Somerville. Really sharp on that right-hand side, and he just twizzled in the box, didn't he? And then the ball goes out right to Dumfries, who puts in another delicious ball for Gakpo. Cody Gakpo in at the far post. That Pomo position, that is the classic Pomo position. Goes all the way through to Gakpo, left-footed. Pops it in. I tell you what, Brian Robbie wasn't far away, was he? Oh, he was inches. He'll be delighted for his teammate, but also thinking, blimey, I nearly had a World Cup hat-trick there.
Exactly. Ronald Koeman celebrates. He's in light grey trousers and a chocolate brown T-shirt. That's what he's gone with today, the Dutch manager. But after the 2-2 draw against Japan, that was just so incisive and brilliant from Somerville to break the line, to beat a man, to get Dumfries in. And Dumfries' delivery from out on the right, normally so dangerous for the Netherlands. So Cody Gakpo now has 4 World Cup goals to his name. Takes him past Johan Cruyff, who scored 3 in his career. So, you know, that's a feather in your cap as a Dutch international. Johnny Rep scored the most with 7. Rob Rensenbrink, Bergkamp, Schneider, Robben and Van Persie with 6. Nieskens with 5.
Good players there.
Oh, good players, Chris. They've had some amazing players down the years. Played in 3 World Cup finals. Not won one yet, but absolutely cruising against Sweden here, and have sort of killed it right at the start of the second half.
Well, was it what I said? You're always the bridesmaids, never the bride. In terms of the World Cup, it's that's exactly where they want to be. Pressure, a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Going into this game on Ronald Koeman, and the nature of Group F.
Robbie lays it off to Gakpo. Gakpo moving at speed, gets the shot away off balance. Felt he was fouled. Michael Oliver doesn't agree.
He's an angry Cody Gakpo, isn't he? Lagerbielke just following him in and did give him a bit of a shove.
Moody Gakpo?
Yeah.
Broody Gakpo?
Not about broody.
No, that wasn't quite right. Karlstrom, low pass to his left-hand side. I'll get you through the 2 team lineups again in just a second. Lots of empty seats inside the stadium. It does take a while if you're heading to the sort of refreshment merchandise outlets at half-time. This stadium holds something like 72,000 people, and it is brilliantly equipped. It does take a while. Pass from Lagerbielke out to the right.
If you need the toilet as well.
Well, I tried that in the last game. Waited 15 minutes, wasn't able to go. Ayari's cross right across the face of goal. Gyökeres was close, couldn't get a touch. Gudmundsson comes speeding up the left-hand side to try and keep it in. Tackled by Somerville, and the ball goes out for a Sweden throw attacking position.
And if you're Sweden, you just have to think next goal. Next goal, and try and give us a little bit of hope. Let's have that spark, something to cling on to.
Yeah, interesting one actually, Chris. I mean, their goal difference in good shape after the 5-1 win against Tunisia, but were they to finish 3rd in the group, goal difference actually looking across the groups could be quite important. So you do not want to get walloped. And they are being well beaten here by 3-0. Netherlands have Verbruggen in goal. As Sweden come forward here, Karlstrom passes to Lagerbielke. Wide it comes to the right wing-back Bernhardsson. Cross in with his right foot. Verbruggen stays on his line. Van Hecke wins the header. Lagerbielke jumps, nods it back into the box. Van Dijk, ball comes off his head. Wasn't quite sure where that had gone for a second. Second header. Nods it away for a Swedish throw. Dumfries, Van Hecke, Van der Viking.
Van der Viking?
Struggling with his name today. Van Dijk and Van der Ven. I rushed onto my Van der Ven before I got to my Van Dijk. It's like sort of trying to play the pass before the ball has got there, and then you take your eye off the ball. Gravenberg, De Jong, Reinders. And then we've got Somerville wide on the right, Gakpo and Brian Brobby as the front 3. Throw into that Dutch penalty area. Ball drops on the edge of the box. Well hit shot by Ayari is blocked, and then the pass too much on it. Gudmundsson couldn't control it. Beyond him and goes behind for the goal kick. So Sweden have Nordfeldt in goal. What?
So Bruggen just smashed his goal kick.
Right.
His place kick off the back of Van Dijk's head. Van Dijk not happy. He's absolutely thundered that 10 yards into the back of Van Dijk, who's looking way up the pitch.
3-0 Netherlands. Isak, little layoff looking for Gyökeres. And then a challenge on Somerville is given as a free kick to the Netherlands inside their own half. The tackle was from Gudmundsson. So far at this World Cup, 99 goals have been scored in the group game so far. So we've had the Netherlands 100th, well, we've had the Netherlands 99th, 100th and 101st today in World Cup history. And the next goal, if there's another one in this game, will be the 100th in this tournament. So there's a lot to try and keep across, Chris. Nordfeldt in goal for Sweden. Lagerbielke, Hien, Lindelof and Gudmundsson. Bernhardsson, Karlström, Ayari, Nygren, Gyökeres and Isak as the front two. Little pocket of rather glum-looking yellow-shirted Sweden fans behind that goal, away to our right. Here's Karlström, central midfielder for Sweden, plays it to Gudmundsson on the left, back to Lindelof. Lindelof across here to Isak Hien. Long right-footed ball, looking for the run of Gyökeres, dealt with easily by Van Hecke, and then Van der Ven just falls asleep on that, and Bernhardsson takes it off him, nips past him. Bernhardsson, edge of the area, trying to make his mind up here on what to do. Dutch defenders are back, and then Isak looking to play a pass, couldn't reach the ball, loose touch, and Netherlands have been able to bring it away with Gravenberg, who holds off Isak. Neat pass straight up to Somerville, looking deadly with the ball at his feet. Quick zippy pass to Gakpo. Gakpo onto the right foot, drives it in. Second goal of the game for Cody Gakpo, a fifth in World Cups for him, and Netherlands tearing Sweden apart in Houston. Netherlands 4, Sweden 0.
Yeah, it's a devastating break from the Netherlands, and Somerville, how sharp has he looked? Sweden on the attack. It was actually really careless from Alexander Isak inside the Dutch box. He gave the ball away, and then they break with such great pace and vigour. And Somerville driving through the heart of the Sweden team, pops it out left. Gakpo 1v1 with Lagerbielke. Lagerbielke too isolated. Nobody could get across. No other defenders could get across. He's asking for help, Lagerbielke. As soon as Gakpo goes inside, and what's he, 14 yards out, 15 yards out, has a little look, just picks his spot brilliantly, doesn't he? Wraps his right foot around the ball, beats the keeper. Nordfeldt at his near post. What a statement from the Dutch.
Graham Potter's making a triple change. This game has gone. Sweden getting thumped 4-0. I think it's fair to say Houston, Sweden have a problem. Bergvall's coming on, Elanga's coming on, and Besport Zanelli, the 23-year-old, who plays his club football for Union Saint-Gilloise. And I'll just confirm who's been taken off for Sweden in a second once we get the information come up on our screens in front of us, because that was done in double quick time. Got to be careful, have got to be careful now with the goal difference. They're back to 0 on goal difference, Sweden. So if Japan were to win tonight, get to 4 points.
We expect them to
Sweden, Sweden will be on third in 3 points, and the goal difference is going to be quite important. Won the first game 5-1, getting stuffed here 4-0. Brobby's on the hat-trick, Gakpo's on the hat-trick, and we have had the 100th goal at this World Cup scored by Cody Gakpo. Bergvall, edge of the penalty area, who I think has come on for Nygren, finds Ayari. Ayari finds space, shoots, nearly found the top corner. Thunderous strike, fizzing just over the bar, and goes behind for the goal kick. Netherlands 4, Sweden 0.
I mean, this is a rocket in Houston, isn't it, from Ayari? He's not far away at all. Verbruggen, his teammate, isn't it, Verbruggen? He wasn't stopping that. Nowhere near it. Thunderous effort, right-footed. Yeah, Langer's come on this right-hand side, but the Dutch are just on the break. They are devastating. Look at them.
Flash of bright orange zipping up the middle of the field is Gakpo. Finds Brobby, the pair of them on a couple of goals each. Gravenberg with his right foot off target. Gave that absolutely everything. And it's high and wide and behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, so, Graham Potter putting a Langer on. You think he's got Isak, he's got Gyökeres. He's not shutting up shop here, is he? And that, we've seen the Dutch break so quickly and so effectively. It's a risky old game to play, isn't it, from Potter?
just to confirm the changes. Burke fell on for Negron, as we said. Chris mentioned Elanga wide on the right. He's come on for Bernhardt and Anthony Elanga of Newcastle. And Zanelli replaces Karlstrom in central midfield. But the Dutch are in the mood. Gakpo finds Reinders, and the football. And again, it's something about in the bright orange shirts. It's so eye-catching, and it's been a delight to watch here in Houston this afternoon. Reinders inside right channel. Netherlands 4, Sweden 0. So Netherlands moving to 4 points. Sweden on 3. Japan and Tunisia will start the night on 1. Play each other at 5 in the morning UK time. Isak's ball, Elanga's pace onto this. Can Sweden score? One touch and finish. Graham Potter's change makes the difference. Explosion of joy amongst the yellow-shirted fans behind Verbruggen's goal away to our right. Lethal precision, cut right through the middle of the Dutch defence. It may be too late for this game, could be important for the goal difference. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. Anthony Elanga has a World Cup goal.
Yeah, there you were banging on about all the nil-nils we've had over the years between these two countries. Electric from Elanga, the pace. He just leaves that Dutch back line for dead. The weight of the pass from Isak is exceptional. Elanga running from deep, and then has he got the composure to finish? Boy, has he. Just pops the ball, beats Verbruggen at his near post, lifts it superbly. Stunning finish. And the Swedes, well, maybe. There is a little bit of hope.
Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. Still plenty of time to play in the game, half an hour or so. Double change made by the Netherlands, so that will have rocked them ever so slightly on their heels. And it shows you what Sweden do have in attack. Their performances at World Cups, when they get to them, at their last 4 World Cups, they've made the knockout stages each time. In fact, in Russia back in 2018, it was England that beat them by 2-0 in Russia. Harry Maguire and Dele Alli with the goals that time. Ayari. Ball drops here to Isak, through to Elanga again, tries to take that on the move into the penalty area. Ball gets away from him and it comes through to Verbruggen.
I may be wrong here. I'd love to see Elanga's goal again, but I think he gets the run on Mickey van der Ven, and he leaves him, absolutely leaves him for dead. And brilliant run, brilliant pass, wonderful finish.
Netherlands lead 4-1. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, your 24-hour World Cup station. This game available on BBC Television 2. If you fancy it via the iPlayer, you can have the pictures and our 5 Live commentary alongside. That is a feature that is there for you throughout the tournament. Reinders has come off to be replaced by Guus Til of PSV Eindhoven, and Koopmeiners is the other one. Teun Koopmeiners of Juventus has come on for Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, Koopmeiners will just sit in front of that back line and keep things ticking, as de Jong did.
Ball played to the right to Elanga. Cross comes into the near post. Van Hecker, important interception. Isak was hoping it might reach him. It gets knocked behind for the corner. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. So a lot of the talk here about the brilliant Dutch football. Apparently a lot of the talk back home about Mark Chapman's shirt that he's got on for the television coverage today. How would you describe that, Mark?
It's I mean, just, yeah. I mean, I would describe that as a pair of curtains my parents had in our house in the 1970s.
It's got a sort of black backing to it, and there's lots of sort of
maroon.
What are they? Fern leaves, aren't they? Maroon fern leaves. I don't know. I think he's rocking that. I think you're okay with that. Oh, not too bad.
I'm not so sure that's an endorsement.
Ayari, corner, headed away high by Van Dijk. Nodded back down, but behind for the goal kick. And it remains Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. Stat fact pops up on our screen. It's just the second time 2 players have scored 2 goals in the same game for the Netherlands at the World Cup. The only previous occasion came
I know
back.
When that was.
Go on.
Was that? I can't remember the year, but was it Van Persie and Robin?
Yes, that's very good. Yeah, against Spain, when they thumped Spain, defending champions, in their opening game in 2014 by 5-1. One of those goals, do you remember that outrageous diving header from Van Persie, throwing himself at the long ball forward? Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. 9 p.m. kickoff. Next commentary for you from the World Cup here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Germany, Ivory Coast. Van de Ven plays the ball back here to Van Dijk. Netherlands win here, all but guarantees their place in the last 32 because they'll be on 4 points. Brobby's nearly away, trying to get the shot away, and Lindelof was there in the nick of time for Sweden to knock it behind for a corner.
He uses his body so well, Brobby. Gakpo on the left, first time ball round the corner. And he just feels Isaac Hien, the Swedish centre-half, and Hien too tight, uses his body, rolls him. And alert defending there to clear the ball behind because Brobby would have been on a hat-trick.
18 minutes gone, second half. Chris Sutton here inside the Houston Stadium for the third time this World Cup. Corner comes in from Koopmeiners. Header is flicked away. Gravenberch collects that. Till left it for him. Wide it comes to the left to Koopmeiners again. Driven diagonal ball to the far side is beyond Dumfries and out for the throw-in. So we're looking, Chris, for these, you've named Brazil, these other 6 nations that have scored.
Argentina.
Yeah, correct.
France.
100 goals in the World Cup history, correct. But here's one for you,
England,
right?
England.
Here's one for you, correct. Tunisia against Japan tonight, apparently, will be the 1,000th game in World Cup history. So before full time, can you name the other 999 fixtures? That'll be a good listen.
Yeah.
Throw down the left for Gyökeres, tackled by Van Hecke. Oh, and that's good movement through the midfield. And a good pass from Gravenberch as well. Smooth from the Dutch. Van de Ven prods it forward blindly.
Great challenge.
Comes in hard and fast on Gakpo. Gets the ball.
Well.
No?
Yeah, he does get the ball. Absolutely gets the ball. Gets a bit of Gakpo as well. But Gakpo isn't having a pop at Lagerbielke. He's having a pop at Gus Till for, I think we'd describe it as a hospital pass, that one.
Yeah, that's exactly the term. That's one that would feature in the great glossary of football commentary on the Commentator's View podcast, which I think there will be a World Cup special coming your way on Friday, Chris. So I know you'll be quickly onto the BBC Sounds app to...
well, it's always special, isn't it?
Well,
it's always special.
You know, you can say that. I can't say that. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. So, yeah, the other 7 nations to score 100 goals or more at World Cups. Brazil, Chris, you said, Argentina, France, England. The other 3.
How many is that?
Would you want to keep going, or shall I just name them? Here's Isak. One of them's not here at this tournament. Forward to Gyökeres. Tackled by Van Hecke. Elanga trying to mop up the bits for Sweden. Neat turn from Gakpo, but turns into Bergvall. Bergvall chased by Koopmeiners. Comes wide here to Isak. Isak starts a dribble from the right. Elanga takes the ball and turns. Feeds it to Isak again. A lot of orange shirts inside that penalty area. Isak crosses one to the back of the box. It's behind Gudmundsson. And Somerville is there for the Netherlands in the right back position and slides a pass up that right-hand touchline.
Just imagine if they did get another one.
Yeah.
Sweden, I mean, they absolutely loaded the box there. And Isak, clever play from him, got the cross in, but I mentioned they loaded the box, but yeah, the 3 Swedish players who had attacked it had all got in front of the ball.
So Germany, Italy, Spain, Chris, I know you were going to get them.
Yeah,
the other 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Italy was an obvious one because you said they weren't there.
So
Spain
why are the Netherlands the odd ones out there? What have the Netherlands not done that those other 7 nations have done?
They haven't won it, Bruce.
You are sharp. Very good. 3 finals they've played in. Sweden played in the final in 1958 on home soil, lost it to Brazil. Chip ball over the top for Brobby. Offside flag might go up
he
here.
was offside, yeah.
Plays it back to Somerville. It does go up. And so that will be a free kick to Sweden. So Netherlands and Sweden, 2 of the 5 nations who've played in World Cup finals and not won them. The other 3 being Czechoslovakia, as they were back in the day. That great Hungarian team that everyone thought was going to win the 1954 World Cup. And then West Germany beat them in the miracle of Bern. And Croatia, 2018, lost the final to France. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. Midway through the second half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Elanga pushes a pass to Bergvall. Bergvall returns the favour. Alanga's got the pace to get there. Oh, that's a brilliant flick. Through the legs of Van der Ven, crosses in, that deserved the goal. Van Hecker is there to nod it away, and it goes out for a throw into swing. What a bit of play that was.
Yeah, Alanga and Isak having a bit of an argument, but Alanga has looked so explosive, hasn't he, since he's come on, got his goal, and then, I mean, brilliant skill on the byline.
Impudent.
Just Till again. He's not had a good start for the Dutch coming on as sub. Back heel through his legs and then the cross in.
Isak, back heel, was looking for the run through there from Zanelli. Here's Berkval, he's easy to spot, like Van Hecker. Bright blonde hair, matching the bright yellow 7 on his back. Sweden bringing the ball forward and using Isak. Isak drifts to the left-hand side. Support on the left from Gudmundsson. He's beaten his man Somerville there. Cross comes in right across the face of goal, and no Swedish forward could get far enough forward to try and get a touch on it. So Verbruggen was able just to watch that slide by and go behind for the goal kick. We have reached, these are not popular. Not popular. The hydration breaks here at the World Cup. Roundly booed here as the players come to the sideline. Netherlands leading Sweden 4-1. More thoughts from Chris Sutton in a second, but I know Chris is going to want to hear this as well. I'm really excited about the weekend at Shinnecock Hills. This is a fabulous US Open golf course. Third round of the US Open underway. Commentary from the team from 8 o'clock UK time on Sports Extra 3 tonight. And our golf correspondent Ian Carter can set the scene.
Hi Ali, yes, the wind has shifted. Shinnecock Hills starting to bare its teeth. Rory McIlroy out on the course, a par at the first. He remains at level par. That's good enough for a share of 11th place. He's been joined on that mark by Tommy Fleetwood, an early birdie for him. He's 1 under after 6 holes of his third round here. Poor start for the world /1 Scotty Scheffler. Bogeys at the first 2, so he slipped to 2 over par. Wyndham Clark is the leader, 7 under par, 64-69 his rounds, 64-67 rather, his rounds so far in this championship. 7 under par, 4 shots clear of Matt Fitzpatrick. They're the final pairing, and they'll be teeing off in about an hour and a quarter from now.
Excellent. Thank you, Ian. I'm just trying to work out. So it's 7:30 back home, isn't it? So commentary starts in about half an hour's time on Sports Extra 3. Make sure you don't miss that. And then the final round tomorrow from 8 o'clock on Sports Extra. In the Women's T20 World Cup at Headingley, England 110 for 4 from 13 overs against Scotland. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra 2. Has moved on to Sports Extra at 7 o'clock, probably available on both stations right now. And let's just remind you of how it finished at the Oval. England 182 for 5 going into the final day. Joe Root is 75 not out, and England need 281 more runs to win. New Zealand need 5 wickets. So would you say that Sweden's job in the last quarter of this game, Chris, is as difficult as England's job at the Oval tomorrow?
I'd say it's probably trickier, isn't it?
Yeah.
For
Sweden. I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
Is it more likely to Sweden score 3 or England knock those off? I don't know, actually.
Well, I believe in Joe Root. But no, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? The rest of this game. It's interesting, isn't it? Because everybody's had their opinion on these hydration breaks, but I've not heard the crowd react like they have done. It's it's disrupted the game. That it's just it's a restart for the players. I mean, it may suit the Netherlands, this one. The first drinks break suited Sweden.
You're going all Dutch there.
Yeah.
Shooted. Memphis Depay, record scorer for the Netherlands, is coming on for Brian Brobby, who won't get his World Cup hat-trick today. Well played, Brian Brobby.
Yeah, I feel a bit gutted for him that he's actually come off now.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have looked so devastating on the break, but Memphis Depay has come on, headband and all, I think, as that central striker. And I think everybody thinks when everybody's fit that he's going to be the guy to lead the line.
Depay chests the ball down immediately into the action. Gakpo tried to feed it back to him. He overhit the pass. Depay will chase that. Always recognise him. Short sleeve shirt. But he's got that thin headband wrapped tightly around his head. Socks rolled down, muscly legs as he goes chasing after Berkval. Here's Gudmundsson, plays it back to Bergvall. So Sweden 4-1 down in this game at the moment against the Netherlands. 2 for Brobbey, 2 for Gakpo. But Sweden still coming forward here. That looked like a trip on Ayari. Yeah, Michael Oliver right on the spot. Says that is a free kick for Sweden. That is probably too far out for a strike. Maybe nearly 40 yards in a central position.
Yeah, the throw that centre backs up Sweden. Isaac Hien and Lindelof has drawn forward Lagerbielke. Well, he's more of a right back now, isn't he? Lagerbielke.
Free kick then for Sweden. Chipped into the left-hand side of the penalty area. Nodded away by... Who did win the header there? I was going to say Gravenberch. It was Gravenberch.
Gudmundsson long throw again, though.
Oh, yeah. Launches himself off the advertising hoardings, runs to the edge of the pitch, slings it in, cleared by the Netherlands. Bergvall with the outside of his right foot, plays it wide to the left. Gudmundsson finds Isak. Isak back here. Cross comes in from that left-hand side from Zanelli. It was a lovely first touch, but Michael Oliver saw a foul in the penalty area as Van de Ven was caught as the ball was cleared by the Netherlands, and so that will be a free kick to the Dutch. They lead Sweden by 4-1. Germany, Ivory Coast, full commentary at 9. 1 in the morning. Ecuador, Curacao, also available on BBC television. 5 in the morning. Tunisia against Japan. We will be on the road to Dallas, Chris, after this game, because on Monday we will watch Lionel Messi in action again. Argentina against Austria, which is a 6 o'clock kickoff UK time on Monday evening. Lagerbielke forward to Gyökeres, just bumped by Van Dijk there, but held onto the ball. And then Ayari, heavy first touch. Van Dijk just smoothly glides in to win it. That's a foul on Gravenberch. Gravenberch's touch actually got away from him, and Ayari sort of dives at him and drags his shirt and gets a yellow card.
It was like it was a rugby tackle, wasn't it? Gravenberch had got away from Ayari, looking to pop the ball out right to Somerville, and Ayari, both hands around his waist, trying to pull him down.
Yeah, Premiership final today at Twickenham. We had full commentary of that on 5 Live Sport earlier on. Northampton, the winners. They beat Exeter by 26 points to 17. Big picture of Yassin Ayari appears above us either side. These giant rectangular screens above both sets of fans. 3-4 tiers of seating takes you all the way up there, and that picture of Ayari with his arms crossed, staring at the camera, big yellow card next to his name because he's the first player to get booked in this game. And Netherlands are coasting, 15 minutes to play. They lead 4-1. Depay, I think, will fancy a goal or a chance or two. Sweeps a lovely curling pass out to Somerville, who really made a difference right at the start of the second half. Plays back to Gravenberch here via Dumfries. Across to Van Hecke. Van Hecke running with the ball at his feet, looking for these lurid orange shirts to make darting moves for him. Gakpo to Van de Ven, who's miscued the cross, off balance, goes behind for a goal kick. Chris Sutton in just a second, but let's check in on England-Scotland in the Women's 2020 World Cup at Headingley. Phoebe Graham.
England are 130 for 4 after 15 overs. We've seen some good performances with bat in hand from Sophia Dunkley. She got 57 off 37. Capsey 40 off 25, but there's an exciting partnership building here between Knight, 14 not out, and Kemp, 7 not out. So England 130 for 4 with 5 overs remaining of this first innings.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Thank you, Phoebe. Goal kick for Sweden. They trail Netherlands 4-1, blown away at the start of the first half and the second half. They've got their goal through Elanga. Bergvall, youthful energy, enthusiasm, bringing him forward. Isak, lanky figure, rolls his pass to Elanga. Elanga, the goal scorer, on the right, gets that cross in. Van Dijk stretches, athletically heads the ball away. Isak just nods it down to himself.
He's caused Van de Ven a fair few problems, hasn't he?
Elanga has. Isak's now on the dribble on the right. Gets that cross in. That's a brilliant block by Van Hecke. The ball's still alive here. Possible chance for Sweden. Gyökeres chests it down. Couldn't quite get the shot away. That was Zanelli trying to do that. And there's a shirt tug there. Michael Oliver has spotted it Foul on Depay, free kick Netherlands, Netherlands 4, Sweden 1.
I thought Gyökeres was shaping up for an overhead kick there, but maybe he didn't have the athleticism to pull that one off. Yeah, just mentioning Elanga in that duel with Mickey van der Ven, getting the cross in again. Van der Ven, you don't often see him sort of unsettled, but Elanga certainly has unsettled him.
Here's Van Hecker, who looked very accomplished for the Netherlands today, playing alongside Van Dijk. Wasn't the regular starter in qualifying. Somerville, burst of pace. Oh, tries something fancy from wide on the right.
He didn't try anything fancy.
We don't think he was trying to shoot there.
No, that was just a really terrible cross.
I thought he thought that Nordfeldt was off his line. He'd try and beat him at his near post. What are you laughing at? Is that the difference between me and you? In terms of someone who's actually played the game and knows what's going on?
I mean, you may be right. I'd love somebody to ask him later, but...
did you mean that? It's probably not the most important question at the end of this game. We've got another change here, or...
Yep.
Yeah, Ayari off, and coming on is Taha Ali to win his 3rd cap, 27 years old. Swedish Somalian, brilliant dribbler by all accounts, a former futsal player. So let's see what he's got. He's wearing the number 26 for Sweden. Group as it stands, Netherlands on 4 points, Sweden on 3, Japan on 1, Tunisia on none. Tunisia, Japan play 5 a.m. UK time in this group.
And Japan are your dark horses, aren't they, for the World Cup?
Yeah, OK. Would you take Morocco then? Because I know you really like the Moroccan team. I do love the Japan team. Right, here he is. Taha Ali, ball at his feet. Small, little figure. Passes the ball back to the edge of the penalty area. Isak receives that and tries to slide one through the middle for Elanga, who'd seen the idea and had made the run, but Van der Ven nips across and clears it away with his right foot.
Yeah, good idea from Isak. He's trying to get his feet sorted out, and Elanga once again, that threat in behind. Not a lot of space to work with there, but Van Hecker and Van der Ven were watchful.
Bergveld's given the ball away. Somerville just skins his man in midfield. Oh, nearly slides it through to Depay. Somerville goes for the loose ball again, beaten to that by Lindelof. Bergveld is there for Sweden. Game's just opening up a little bit later on here. Netherlands obviously still comfortable with a 3-goal cushion. Elanga's overrun that, bobbled the ball into the feet of Van der Ven, and then there's a foul on Gakpo, who's writhing around in agony just outside his own penalty area. Clumsy challenge, and so that will be a free kick for the Netherlands. In the game, attempts at goal, Chris, has just come up on the big screen away to our right. Netherlands 9, they've scored 4 of them. Sweden 12, they've scored 1 of them.
Yep, I mean, that's not the stat that matters. Bergveld got a yellow card for that challenge on Gakpo. Well, Michael Oliver pulled the card out of his pocket, so I assume so. Yes, Sweden have carried a threat, haven't they? It's just, you know, the Dutch started the game so well, and then they've just been more clinical.
Yeah, created some golden opportunities which they've stuck in the back of the net. Led twice against Japan in their first game, drew 2-2. Lead 4-1 here, going top of the group. Winners of this group, in fact, however you come through this group, I think it's going to be tricky. Winners of this group will play the runners-up from Group C, so that's Brazil, Morocco or Scotland. Runner-up in this group plays the winner of that group. Poof, blimey. Ball over the top from deep, aimed towards Gakpo. Oh, brings that down well under pressure on the laces of his right boot, and he's offside.
Yeah, I mean, you know, your mindset is a very negative mindset. I think if you're a top nation, you're thinking it doesn't matter who we play, bring them on.
No, I'm just saying it'd be difficult. I mean, is that?
Yeah, it'd be difficult, but we can overcome all these obstacles.
Yeah, my stat for you before the game was, though, Ronald Koeman in this second spell in charge of the Netherlands, 14 games against teams currently ranked in the top 25 in the world. They haven't won a single one of them. So that will have to change if they're going to go much further in this competition. Free kick here for Sweden. Lager Bielka takes it quickly to Hien. Bergveld, the goal difference at the moment then for Sweden is +1, so that's absolutely fine. But they do have a tough last game, although Chris wouldn't like me to put it like that, against Japan. Hien
That's what makes it such a fascinating group.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, the way that this was, you know, talking before the game about it being so big for the Netherlands.
Gyökeres, Sweden attacking fluently down the right. Elanga at speed has overhit the cross. That's a shame. Beyond Ali, beyond Isak, beyond everyone inside the penalty area. The final delivery was poor. The build-up was beautiful.
It was, but he has been a threat, hasn't he? Elanga on this right-hand side, but Zanelli and Isak and Ali were in the box. Yeah, that was a poor execution from Anthony Elanga.
Chris Sutton with us here in the Houston Stadium. Mario Melchiot, former Dutch international, will get his thoughts on this result, this game, at the full-time whistle as we build up to our next commentary, which is Germany against Ivory Coast. Both of those two nations having won their opening group games in Group E, throwing up towards the halfway line, cushioned header back into the Dutch half, nodded forward down the right-hand touchline by Dumfries towards Somerville. He's beaten by Goodmanson, who heads it out of play. We've got 7 minutes left, and it does feel like we're going through the motions a little bit here now, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for the Dutch, but when you get so far ahead, you know, maybe that they haven't really pushed as hard as they could have done. They've, you know, 4-0 up. You may switch off a little bit, and Sweden have played with great determination and vigour and heart, really, because they could have absolutely given up themselves, but that's not the nature of the Swedes.
Here come Sweden. Isak on the left. Van Hecker had just got himself out of position for a second then. There's the dribbler. Isak with the shot with the right foot, palmed away by Verbruggen. Again, a similar save to a couple he made in the first half. Hit with pace, but close enough to him, decent height, and he's palmed it away, and it's gone out for a throw into Sweden. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1.
It's a really good save, actually. A right hand up high above Verbruggen's shoulder. Isak opens his body out beautifully on the left-hand side of the box, tries to curl that in right-footed. Not far away, good save. 6
minutes left in the game, plus added time. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1. Elanga with the corner, an away swinger, headed away by Dumfries. Ball loose, curling shot with the left foot is straight at Verbruggen from Zanelli.
Van Dijk's
pats it down, and Van Dijk has indeed ended up flat on his back inside the Dutch penalty area, and Verbruggen immediately puts the ball out of play, and that will be a major concern for the Netherlands. He's got his right hand, his left hand, no, he's going to be okay. He's taken a whack there, left hand over his eyes, high on the right thigh. Short just pulled up the right leg there. Maybe one of those dead legs, Chris. Nasty one, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not medical experts.
Not from up here.
No, it would be a blow if. I mean, he's a great leader for the Netherlands at the back, isn't he?
Verbruggen's taken too long to clear that. Michael Oliver. What's Michael Oliver saying? Gyökeres blocked it. And he's having a right pop at Michael Oliver. He's given the free kick to the Netherlands. Gyökeres cannot understand the decision. Was he too close to begin with? Did it hit him on the arm? Maybe was his arm away from his body? Anyway, Victor Gyökeres making his point clear to Michael Oliver. They'll know each other well from Premier League encounters last season. Gakpo jumps to win a header wide on the left, doesn't get any contact on the ball. And it goes out for a throw into Sweden. So Cody Gakpo now on 5 World Cup goals for the Netherlands, alongside Johan Neeskens. Lagerbielke plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Noordveld. Noordveld clears with his left foot. Dumfries sees an opportunity to run forward. Plenty on the header beyond Till. Bounces twice and goes behind for the goal kick to Sweden. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1.
Yeah, I mean, since they got that fourth goal, they've switched off a bit. They've not played with the same intensity that the Dutch. They've been a little bit dull, haven't they, towards the end of this game? But, you know, essentially it's just about getting the job done, winning 3 big points, and they're in charge of this group now.
Yeah, win today all but guarantees their place in the last 32 for the Netherlands. Lagerbielke taking a risk inside his own penalty area. Good skill to keep it away from Gakpo. Gyökeres lays it off to Bergvall. Elanga is there. Elanga will fancy this again in the one-on-one with Van der Ven. Van der Ven studies the ball at Elanga's feet. Elanga to Gyökeres. Back to Elanga. Left-footed pass looking for Isak. Could have hit the shot possibly. That pass was blocked, and it comes back to Verbruggen.
Gyökeres hasn't got his goal today, but some of his link-up play, I think, has been really excellent. Once again, clever with Elanga. Reverse pass, clever reverse pass, and Elanga got his final pass wrong, but Gyökeres has impressed, albeit it's been a difficult afternoon for Sweden.
Gakpo trying to knock it past Lagerbielke. Lagerbielke closes legs, block the ball. Gakpo goes down, no free kick. Here comes Sweden again. Isak and Gyökeres still out there. Here's the devilish dribbler again, Taha Ali. Dummies, heads for the byline, left-footed, shanks the cross, and it goes behind for the goal kick to the Netherlands. 88th minute of the game, just about a tick into the 89th. Netherlands 4, Sweden 1.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ali being a dribbler. Didn't you? A little Ali shuffle there on the left-hand side. Little jink, but just not a great cross, sliced it behind.
Germany, Ivory Coast at 9 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Ecuador, Curacao at 1. Tunisia, Japan at 5. And then tomorrow, 5 p.m, Ian Dennis and Paul Robinson with Spain against Saudi Arabia, followed by Belgium, Iran at 8. Conor McNamara on commentary duties for that one. 11 o'clock tomorrow night, Uruguay against Cape Verde. Somerville out to the left. Nice build-up play. Pass from Depay, finds Somerville. Somerville hits the shot, finds the bottom corner. Seals the deal right at the end of the game. Has burst onto this World Cup in the USA. Magic feet, great running, and a sizzling finish for the Netherlands 5th. Netherlands 5, Sweden 1.
Looks as sharp as anything, doesn't he, Somerville? On at half-time. Massive impact, brilliant finish. It's absolutely devastating. Somerville, such a clever finish, such a composed finish. With his brilliant dancing feet, create the situation. He said that they'd been sort of pretty dull towards the end of this game, but the Dutch link up brilliantly. Somerville pushes Lindelof back and gets to, 18, 19 yards out. Lindelof backs off because he's worried about Somerville in a 1v1 situation. Somerville looks up, presence of mind, and he finds the corner of the net brilliantly, wraps his right foot around that wonderful finish. Ronald Koeman celebrates. What a great day it's been for the Dutch. 5-1.
2 goals for Crescencio Somerville at this World Cup. 2 goals for Brian Brobby today. 2 goals for Cody Gakpo today. Sweden, big winners in their first game against Tunisia, have had a lesson here. They've really been punished. They've been so clinical, the Dutch, and they lead 5-1. Statement of intent from Ronald Koeman and his team.
And he could be a big-time player for this Dutch team now. Somerville, not a small-town boy, is he?
Very good, sneaking it in just before the end of the game. Van Dijk heading the ball forward into the Swedish half. Bergvall tries to dribble out of his own half, is caught there by Gravenberg. That's a foul. Zanelli wants to take that quickly. How much added time have we got at the end of the game here? I didn't see the board go up. We are into it now. We've played the 90 minutes, and up on the big screen it's not telling us just yet. Maybe they're keeping that as a little surprise right at the end of the game. Depay's layoff is short. Isak, here we go. 5 minutes of added time. Dutch have 5 goals. Gyökeres deserves a goal. He's running at Van Hecker. He's going to hit the right-footed shot. Van Hecker blocks it with his right calf. Ali is there.
Tottenham's Van Hecker now, isn't it?
Tottenham's Van Hecker. Yeah, good point. Good point. Goodmanson to Ali. Come on then, let's see what he's got here. Going to try and beat Dumfries. Clever little bobbly pass to Goodmanson. Crosses on the turn, straight at Verbruggen. Catches the ball cleanly at his near post. 4 minutes remaining in the game. Cody Gakpo has come off. Just trying to spot him. Noah Lang has come on in added time for the Netherlands. Long, high ball sailing downfield for Depay to chase. Covered by Hean, running away from Depay. Hean still going. Might run into trouble here wide on the right. Has bundled into one of the Dutch players, Van de Ven, and has conceded the free kick. And Gakpo's just got a bag of ice on his right forearm there, Chris. Did you see, by the way, Thomas Tuchel throwing a pitch? I'm not sure where it was, at the baseball the other day, the England manager. Was
it a good pitch?
Do you know what? I didn't actually see the pitch. I saw the still photo of him ready to do it, but didn't actually see how good it was. I'd be quite nervous doing that, I think. Goodmanson knocks the ball out of play. That's
well, I don't think you'd ever be asked to do it, in fairness, but...
Well, we can always dream, Chris. You never know. We'll work with you long enough, possibly. Throw in for the Netherlands. Finally, a bit of noise, a bit of singing and chanting. Dutch flags waving away to our left. Solid body of orange shirts in that lower tier. Behind Nordfeldt's goal away to our left-hand side. Elliot Stroud has come on for Gabriel Goodmanson. That's just being announced inside the stadium. Couple of minutes to play. No doubt about who's winning this game. Netherlands coming into it under a little bit of pressure. Resounding victory, and they've scored some good goals, some good finishes in the second half, but some crosses in the first half that you just couldn't miss from. The incisive attacking football's been impressive. Somerville's gone down late and taken an accidental whack to the head here. Zanelli's over the top of his opponent and apologising, and Michael Oliver's going to call on the medical staff onto the field. So Netherlands 5, Sweden 1.
It takes a really nasty blow to the face, Somerville. It's a knee. He's watching his goal again, but no, I just hope he's all right. The right knee of Zanelli thunders into, it's accidental, thunders into his face, is over by the corner flag, is off the pitch. And carry the game on just without him for a moment. As job done from the Dutch.
Minute or so to play. Added time at the end of the game. Convincing victory for Ronald Koeman's Netherlands team. Van Hecker volleys the ball away and out of play for a Swedish throw on the left. The Bruggans made a few saves. Sweden have created chances. Elanga did score the goal. Big game for them coming, last group game against Japan. Elanga on the dribble again, inside left channel. Here's Taha Ali. Ali works it onto his right foot, running across the face of the penalty area. Still going, trying to prod this ball towards Bergvall. Eventually, just too many orange shirts in the way. Bergvall gets onto it again. 30 seconds to play here. Bergvall drops the shoulder, moves to his right, finds Gyökeres. Bergvall continues the run. Van der Ven blocks the pass. Bergvall gets to the rebound. Behind him there is Lagerbielke. Gyökeres wants it back to goal, wide on the right, outside of his right foot, back to Lagerbielke. Cross comes in, Van Dijk sticks a big long left leg out, comes off his shin and goes behind for the corner. And is Michael Oliver going to let us see a last little bit of action here, or is he going to be a spoil sport, blow the full-time whistle and get them all off the pitch? And concern actually continues here for Crescencio Somerville, still receiving treatment at the other end of the field, off the pitch, away to our left-hand side. He took a nasty glancing blow with a knee to the head. Corner for Sweden towards the far post. Powerful header. Verbruggen is down and saves well, low to his left. Might have been Bergvall who powered that towards him. Expecting the full-time whistle to go any second. And there it does go. And the Netherlands have proved a point there today. Coming into this game under a little bit of pressure. They led twice against Japan in the opening game. It finished 2-2. They came flying out of the blocks today. Ronald Koeman changed his team. That worked brilliantly. Brian Brobby got the first 2 goals. Cody Gakpo, and the rest of them actually looked razor sharp. He got 2. Crescencio Somerville still receiving treatment. Got the 5th. Elanga got 1 for Sweden. Much more like it from the Dutch. Chris Sutton.
Yep, Ronald Koeman said before the game, they need to get better. They need to grow throughout the tournament. Well, they've grown a fair bit today. Really impressive performance. Good team selection. Brobby coming in, getting his couple of goals. Memphis Depay getting a bit of game time at the end. Cody Gakpo devastating off that left-hand side for the Dutch. And Somerville also provided a spark when he came on at half-time. So a Dutch team under a little bit of pressure coming into this game, but really stepping up and putting on a really excellent performance.
Big smiles from the fans in the bright orange shirts who dominate this stadium in Houston. So Netherlands go top of the group with the big win against Sweden. They move to 4 points. Sweden on 3 points after their win against Tunisia. The goal difference has taken a battering here. That is back to 0. And Japan and Tunisia will play later. Japan on 1 point, could go above Sweden with a win. Tunisia on 0 points. And the Netherlands win means they are all but guaranteed a place in the last 32. And if you come up against them playing like that, then good luck to you. Much more impressive today. It's finished here in Houston. Netherlands 5, Sweden 1.
Ali, Chris, thank you so much. Germany versus the Ivory Coast to come, as are Ecuador versus Curacao and Tunisia versus Japan. But let's just react to what we've seen and heard over the last 90 minutes from Houston. Chris Sutton at the game for us. And Chris, I mean, just so much more of a Netherlands